and welcome to Retrovision 1984. Before we go any further, let's say hello to our panel. Let's say hello to Donna. Hello, Donna.
Hello. My gosh, the amount of Blue Peter sticky tape and things that went into this, it's ridiculous. But I'm here and loving a bit of 1984.
It looks amazing. And let's welcome the gorgeous, with a rose behind his ear, Nick.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. What a year to watch. Memorable.
Definitely memorable. And next we go to Hot Eyes. It's Paul and Andrew.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Fabulous year.
Yeah, great year.
Good.
It's allowed me to dress up as one of my favourite songs.
Good. And hello to Terry. Welcome back, Terry.
Hello, thank you very much for having me back. I've normally got blonde hair. I've got my black wig on because I'm representing the lovely gentleman from Italy from 1984. A very fantastic year, a significant year for me because it was the year before I went to drama school to be in musical theatre. So it made a big impression on me this particular year. I think one of the weakest years in the 80s. But having said that, I think at the time I didn't appreciate it as much as I do now because now I think it's fantastic. Let's go.
Right, that's all right. You redeemed yourself there, Terry. You were nearly on a list.
Was I nearly on the naughty boy list for saying it wasn't very good? But you see, they're all very, very good. But this was just like, anyway, it's one of those that it's a bit like Marmite, but now I'm loving the Marmite. The more I watch this one, it's like a wine, a fine wine. I didn't like it at the time, but as the years have gone by, I love it more and more.
Yeah. Cheers, Terry. Strap in, folks. It's going to be a long one. So this was the 29th Eurovision and it was held in Luxembourg at the Theatre Municipal on the 5th of May 1984, after they won in 1983 with C'est la vie est cadeau by Corinne Hermes. The contest, yeah, that's close enough. The contest was presented by 19-year-old Desiree Nobuche, and she was the youngest presenter then, and she's still the youngest presenter now. We welcome back Ireland, and we said goodbye to Greece and Israel for this one. So, shall we have a look at the first 6 songs?
Riksar och dunder, magiska under. Plötsligt en dag har det hänt. Åh, vilken tur. Du är en lyckofigur. Diggaloo, alla tittar på.
Au téléphone, y a des soupirs qui nous empêchent de dormir. Dans ma radio, y a trop de chansons qui me mettent le cœur en chiffon. Donnez-moi 100% d'amour pour le partager tous les jours avec le ciel, avec les gens. Oh, avec le ciel, avec les gens. Oh, donnez-moi 100% d'amour.
Le monde est-il meilleur ou pire? Je ne sais pas ce que je peux dire, mais chez moi, j'entends des éclats de rire. Il y a autant d'amour que d'étoiles au ciel. Il y a autant d'amour que nous sous le soleil. Laisse-moi regarder l'avenir au fond des yeux. Tu sais regarder, tu verras, le monde est beau. Länge leve livet, vi vet aldrig var vi änder. Länge leve hoppet, vi står sammen som vad som händer. Länge leve troen på ett liv. You were only playing love games. You were only playing love games, baby. Why, baby? Why? Why'd you wanna break my heart, babe? Should've told me from the start, babe. Should've let me know that you were letting go. You were only playing love games. You were only playing love games. Love games when sugar love and stuck like glue. But all this time you had me hooked on you. You were only playing love games. You were only making love games. Sugar love and stuck like glue. And all this time you had me hooked on you. Baby, baby, baby,
There we have it. Sweden, Luxembourg, France, Spain, Norway, and the UK. Nick, what did you like about those?
Oh, well, what a start. I mean, you know, what I call the nursery rhyme song, but, you know, for many years I really hated it. I think because I'm getting older and I saw them in Barcelona, I'm thinking I'm warming to the Jerez. And I just loved dear old Terry Wogan's comment that certainly not the worst start to Eurovision. And then we had Luxembourg going off key, out of tune, and oh my goodness me, we thought, oh God, it's like a roller coaster, isn't it? Up 1 minute, down the next. But thankfully, France, you know, got it back on the road, and my favourite out of that lot is Spain. What a classic, Lady, you know, bravo España. See what I did there then?
I did, Mick, I did. But talking of Spain, do you think if they wore a different outfit, they would have won?
Well, yeah, because it was quite dull and grey, wasn't it, really? It didn't really stand out. I thought, yes, what we needed was a good Spanish red in there, I thought.
Not like an office party.
Yeah.
Like, what's that about? I think if they'd have worn something different, they'd have won. Anyway.
Well, I think that shocked the Norwegian entry, because that high scream right at the beginning, I mean, that woke me up. Good grief. I don't know what happened there.
I know. It's a good job I wasn't pouring a drink when I was listening to it, I tell you. It was a shock. Donna, what do you think of these six?
Oh, well, it's quite a selection, isn't it? Blimey. I'm glad that they started off with Jerez, actually. They brought a lot of fun to it, nice routine. Yeah, I still enjoy that song, actually, to this day. Although the mix was a little dry, I thought. So, yeah, their vocal sounded very unflattering. And then we went into Luxembourg. Well, bless her. I think that would have been a great song sung by anyone else. It was very junior Eurovision. I don't know if anybody else sort of thinks that as well. It would have suited it to a T, and her voice lended to that well, but it was never going to be a winner, was it? I really like France. I enjoyed France a lot, although I could not get out of my head the fact she looked like Maureen Lipman. Yeah, but actually, out of these six, I'm champion in the UK. I actually really love that song, and it's one that, because I was very, very young at the time when it was broadcast, I would have watched it with Mom at the time, but I just don't really remember it. And I'm glad we've come back to this, because it's a song I'm glad I've found again. So yay, UK should have done better.
Oh, it's nice. Bit of patriotism never hurt anybody. Next, let's go to Terry. Terry, tell us your opinions.
Yeah, well, I'd only like to talk about two of these, which are my two favourites, which are actually in my top 5, both of these, in this year's selection. And it's wonderful. This is testament to the fact that the first song of the night can win. as happened in 75 and 76 and 84. So 3 years out of 20, the first song won. And so many times in competitions, people think that the first song's going to be forgotten about by the end. But no, Jerez, well done. And it wasn't just about the golden boots and the gimmick. The song was really fantastic, great vocals. I thought the lead singer was a touch nervous at the beginning. But of course, you know, forgive him for that because it's the first song of the night in this fantastic venue. Nice to see that it's in a theatre with a proper proscenium arch rather than an arena, because that's very rarely done, obviously, these days. Everything gets bigger and bigger. So it's nice that it's downscale production. Wonderful vocals. The two guys opposite, either side are very confident. Great routine, great energy. And it really still lives on today. That kind of song is classic and it's timeless. And it's of that 70s, 80s, especially 80s Scandinavian ilk. If you listen to the orchestration, they've all got that same sort of orchestration going on, and it's a winner every time. The second song I want to mention is Spain, not just because of the weak vocals of Luxembourg, but sorry, not Spain, forgive me, France, coming after Luxembourg with the very weak vocal. France is a particularly strong singer, and it's like, wow, the eyes open when she opens her gob, having just heard Luxembourg. No disrespect to Luxembourg, sorry, Luxembourg, but brilliant France, fantastic voice, really showed off her full range, and she's got a light, bright face, fantastic singer, wonderful song. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Terry. Next, let's go to Hot Eyes, aka Paul and Andrew. You're on mute.
Hello.
Yay!
We're back. Yeah, can I just start by saying that in 1982, Channel 4 sat going in the UK, and it seems like they borrowed the Channel 4 logo for the set of Eurovision. Do you not think? I think they stole it.
Did.
Yeah. Anyway, talking about the songs, Sweden, obviously, it's been the audience. It was an audience favourite from the beginning. You could hear that by the way they reacted. It was always good. It was always going to be one of the top ones. It was just the funniest one of the night, I think. Did anyone notice the bum note on the trumpet halfway through? One of the trumpeters in the orchestra made a right faff of one of the notes, and it looks like the lead singer. Looks could kill. Basically, he noticed. But anyway.
I'm going to very briefly go through mine. Luxembourg, I absolutely loved in the actual, you know, when we used to have those the Sundays before, when we used to have the videos, I thought Luxembourg was wonderful, and it was the favourite to win. I think nerves just must have got to her. I think Spain's Bravo and Lady. I don't think they got the email that they had to wear red, white, and black. Sorry, because everybody seems to be wearing red, white, and black.
Yeah,
and I just want to mention the UK, which I loved, but I think, why is it that whenever I watch that now, I always think of Victoria Wood at the Chippy?
I think she based it on that. So yeah. And also, you know, France. Wasn't really for me. I thought she was quite shouty. She had to scream everything, didn't she? Ah! You didn't need to. Sometimes less is a bit more. And Norway, Dolly Deluxe. I love that name. They took the high note and they put it at the beginning of the song, which is something I've never seen at Eurovision before. It's the beginning, the first few seconds. They could have added another one at the end, perhaps, to sort of. Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that, but I noticed the beginning. I thought it was quite ABBA-esque. It was a very sort of, it could have been written by Bjorn and Benny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, thank you very much. Phil, what are your opinions on anything?
Right, quickly, I thought the Harrys had really, really good choreography. I mean, the stage was tiny, wasn't it? It wasn't very big to begin with, and they had lots of steps either side. So the actual usable stage was really small, but they really made the use of it, and they were really well coordinated. Yeah, Luxembourg, that could have been from a kids' TV show, didn't it? The Spanish song, I thought that sounded like two different songs stuck together randomly, like a chorus from one song and verses from another. But yeah, I like the UK, obviously. I thought it sounded a bit Motown. The only thing was there was a lot of chorus to it, you know.
Can I just stop you there, Phil, and just put this up? I think that should be a thing. Phil should have to mime all his responses.
No.
Thank you very much, Phil. And we've left it till last so we can say hello. Hello, Denise. We've had a few technical issues, but we've made it in the end.
We did. We had a busy day and not very much time to get ready. So I just want to, may I just explain my outfit? Just in case you're all wondering what's going on. I am actually Finland half and half. So I am the gentleman at the front, except this should be pink with the mouth organ, right? And this is for the lady at the back who's the backing singer.
Oh, that's brilliant. Nobody else is coming as two people. I've barely come as one.
And I've actually got the jacket on as well, except it's not a pink tie. So, yeah, so I'm the backing singer at the back, the lady at the back, in the middle, and I'm also the gentleman at the front with the mouth organ.
That's brilliant, Denise. We love it.
But my apologies for being late. It was just one of those.
That's all right.
We've got it now. So anyway, welcome and thank you, everybody. Really nice to see you all looking just spectacular. My views on these now, my favourites, and I must go back with Phil here, is when this happened. This was my mother's last Eurovision before she died, and I remember her saying to me at the tender age of something, single figures, she said, that sounds a bit like the Supremes, a bit Motown. And it really appealed to me, and I've always liked it, and it was my favourite. I absolutely love it. But it is very Supremes. If you listen to it again, it's really, really Supreme-y. So that was my favourite. However, a very close second was the Harris. Loved that song. Looked a bit like, reminded me of a bit like Bucks Fizz with the different coloured things. But yeah, loved that song. It's very popular wherever we go, out on Eurovision things. Luxembourg, France and Spain. Well, I just want to lump those together. They didn't appeal to me at all. Really sorry. Spain just looked like washed out. So I agree with somebody else who said that. France, lady in the red dress. Okay. Luxembourg. No. So those weren't my favourites. But Norway, a couple of little spots is they had an organ which they didn't play, I believe. And also, did you notice that her microphone nearly dropped? And she had to grab it, secure it, and then she rolled her eyes to her partner. So just the little things that you spot when he did it, because she is as if she was saying, thank God I caught it, you know? So
I love
really,
that bit.
Yeah, so really me is UK, which is great, and Sweden. And you know, Norway, the song, I thought was really good. Love the outfits. So that will be number 3. Not very good on Spain, France, and Luxembourg. But when I was that age, I really, you know, still don't like them. So that's my verdict.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Denise. And before we go any further, we'd like to say thank you to Euro Towley. Thank you very much for your kind donation. It is gratefully received because Sean's dressing up budget is getting out of hand. You see, look, whereas I've got a black card and have to paint my own. You see, Sean would have had that bejeweled. We very much appreciate all your opinions and your cash. Thank you very much. So now let's go to the next 6 songs. We will, but Phil's fiddling.
avanti la vie traverse la mémoire des hommes, roule dans ta tête tant de détours, souvent de gueule. Avanti la vie, n'écoute pas toutes les lois. Avanti ta vie, du cœur et des poings. Avanti, peut-être referas-tu.
Long distance USA. Last night I heard him say he's been away too long now. He's coming home beyond the morning plane. If I still feel the same, I should be waiting 'cause he'd be all alone. I made arrivals by the time he had said. I searched the information but it read terminal free, quite some time. Terminal free, quite some time. So come on home. Terminal free, quite some time. Ergens från Norden är stillet för dig. Da ikke meine tyder på at solen kigger frem igen. Det går, men det går. Det får mig til at sige. Det store tusen herligheder. Det bliver slidt og går ud af det blå. Det går, men det går. Det får mig til at svæve. Og hvis jeg drømmer om ferien, der er værd væk fra mig. Jo, det er smålet start for lejen. En gang du svæver et smil. Og hvad var det?
Alleen van jou. Ik kan niet leven in een wereld zonder jou. Ik wil je alles geven, hou zoveel van jou. Ik kan niet leven in een wereld zonder jou. Ik hou van jou.
Sjećaš li se te noći pasne?
Strhla sam, morala si oči znam. Ciao amore, ciao ljubavi. Ciao amore, ciao i piši mi. Ti brzo me odreći se. Znam da ti se nije važno me. Tvoje oči govore mi sve. Samo me poljubi. Ciao amore, ciao amore, ciao i piši mi.
So there we have Cyprus, Belgium, Ireland, Denmark, Netherlands, and Yugoslavia. Let's go to Terry first. Terry, what did you think of those? You're on mute, Terry. Terry, you're on mute, Terry.
How do I not be on mute?
Yeah, you're on. We can hear you, Terry. You're good.
No, there we go.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
A mile. Yes. So this is my favourite section of the show by a mile.
Unmuting.
I'm trying to.
Oh, Terry, we don't know why, but you've gone on mute again.
Right.
Right, you're
The host
unmuted.
has muted.
No.
Am
we're
I
just
unmuted?
No, you're unmuted. Let's go, Terry. Let's do this.
Am I okay? I haven't
Good.
touched the thing. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Right.
Good,
So
you're good, you're
my
good.
favourite is fantastic. Cyprus. I love the simplicity. If only people nowadays could look back on something like this and see that all you need is those simple sways from the backing singers. The lead guy, beautiful voice, no nerve, free, joyous, wonderful. There's a lot of technical issues in this whole show microphonically. The microphones were like coming in and out doing crazy things all night. But someone just said there was a thunderstorm on the night and that affected lots of things, which is fair enough. I never knew that. Belgium makes me smile, this one, because I love the intensity and the fact that the director obviously said, right, on the first bit, you all look at the floor, be really serious. Then the second section, you just you look intensely into the camera, and then you do a little sway, and then you just do a nice little brief smile, and then a big smile. Very funny the way it's so like ABC, like, you know, segmented together. Ireland, obviously very powerful ballad, fantastic. I love the storyline going through, but I've always wondered what happens when the plane lands and they meet again. Do they get it off together? You know, do they live happily ever after? We don't know what happens after the plane's landed. It's all about it's come in on time. Planes never come in on time, so that's bizarre for a start. Denmark is my star of Eurovision '84 because of one person, and the person is the lady in the middle of the backing dancers. The three in the middle, the tall one. She's really going for it, like big time, and she looks like she was the stage manager. She was doing the props or making the tea, and she's been watching it all week in the wing, and she knows all the choreography, but she's never done it before. Someone drops ill on the night. She's got a stomach bug, and she says, "Here, I'll do it. I know all the moves." And she just comes in on the night, does it, like wipes the floor with the others. You don't even look at the other two, and she really goes for it. She knows all the steps, and she's just absolutely dynamic. I don't care about the lead singer. I'm not even looking at the lead singer. I'm looking at that. I want to have coffee with her. I just love her. Netherlands, the best ballad of the show by a mile. Wonderful, deep, brilliant voice. So nice to hear a lady singer that's not singing up in the sky, that's got all that chesty business going on. Fantastic. But there's one moment where she doesn't quite breathe properly, and she misses a phrase towards the end of a phrase. It just comes out a bit weak. Yugoslavia. Am I still on? Yugoslavia is my pin-up boy of the contest. Beautiful boy. And I love when he opens his gob that the razor blades come out. You're not expecting that. You're expecting this lovely lilting tenor ballad voice, and the old razor blades start, which I absolutely love. Now, voices and music is all, you know, individual taste, but there's something about those razor blades that gets me every time. Love it. Fantastic 6 songs. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Terry. Right, moving on swiftly. Let's go to Paul and Andrew.
Right, my 2 songs. Basically, I agree with everything you said about Cyprus. I thought that was wonderful. That was my guilty pleasure. It just was so joyful and joyous, and I thought it had the finest head of hair for a man in Eurovision I've ever seen.
It's a bad mullet, though, I thought.
And I have to say, for me, the song of the night should have won. Belgium. Absolutely loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Although Paul hates it and wants to know why was there a power cut halfway through in the big. They start with a power cut.
Yeah, they're in complete shadow the whole way through. You can't see a thing. The lighting man should be sacked. Maybe it was because of the.
I think it was deliberate, darling. No, deliberate, definitely.
Netherlands was
Wait,
gorgeous.
stages.
Netherlands.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. That leaves me with Ireland. Well, you know, what can you say? It's just Linda Martin. Didn't like it at the time, but you know, it's grown on me since. And I think at the time, I know that I did watch this, but I really can't remember what I thought. Probably not much. But it's an uplifting song. So you know, Denmark. Well, you know, very Bobby Socks, very sort of swingy. You can actually sing Bobby Socks to it. to Let It Singer. Uplifting and fun, jolly Schlager, and nice earrings too. Yugoslavia, I felt, well, you thought it was a bit creepy.
Yeah, it's just a bit creepy.
I think it's just a young couple slobbering over each other, really. Or a very forced bloke, like the razor blades on. But a bit much bell ringing in the chorus, you know. Ollie Alexander this year had bells in his chorus, but he kept them to a minimum. They had a bell on every single bar of the chorus, on every single note, and it was just too much. Have I missed anything?
Nope, that's it.
No, you're only supposed to do 2 or 3 out of each section. But that's fine. You knock yourself out. It's fine. Phil is actually going to mime this next bit. He's saying, oh no, I was going to interpret what he's saying, that actually the Bobby Sox song came out the year after, so it was a blatant copy of this
Plagiarism.
One. What you were saying, Phil?
Yeah, definitely.
It's like I can read your mind. Any other ideas? Don't mind the rest.
Yeah, I thought Cyprus. I thought the backing singers looked like they were from some 70s sci-fi show, and he looked like some sort of Vegas lounge singer. It was odd.
Oh, is that the ones dressed like V?
Yeah. And Belgium in the darkness. And also, I mean, I said it was a small stage, but it wasn't that small. And they were all like really crowded in behind him. You know, he was odd. It looked almost like a religious cult.
It was really creepy. I didn't like the way that they didn't look at the camera when they were just sort of looking down. It was weird.
Yeah, Linda Martin, I mean, that's a classic, isn't it? You can't really say much about that. But Yugoslavia, I kind of disagree with Terry. I didn't think those two voices worked together at all. I thought he sounded like Brian Johnson from AC/DC.
Look at Terry's face, you're upset.
Well, we all have different tastes, Terry, but no, it wasn't for you, I'm afraid.
Thank you very much, Phil. Next, we'll go to Denise.
Cyprus. Actually, Terry Wogan described that gentleman, the lead singer, as the tubby man from Cyprus. Now, if you watch it back, if you listen to it, he actually says, and I think it was on the postcards, he says, and the tubby guy from Cyprus. So, of course, I was expecting Mick McManus, you know, and some of you may not know who Mick, but I was expecting somebody very large. Well, I didn't think he was very large, but he was very insulting. And he said, this tubby boy from Cyprus, he's rather large. So that was the first thing that I was shocked about. I do agree with Phil about the backing singers, but that's a nice song. Now, Belgium, I remember this well. Yes, it is creepy. And my mum said, and I remember it, it's like, she said, this is like you put this at a funeral. She said, this is awful. Because it looks like he's got a lynch mob around him and they're going to jump on you and kill you. So that was, dismal for me. Sorry, but dismal. Ireland, well, good old Linda Martin. I thought that was really good for, with its age. Really good. Loved it. We always love it. Denmark, I thought was really super. But yeah, Bobby Sox. If you play them together, identical. I can't believe they got away with it. I agree with Paul and Andrew there. Definitely Bobby Sox all over it. The more I listen to it, I'm thinking, actually, didn't dawn on me. But yeah, so direct plagiarism. Netherlands, sorry guys. Apart from her hair and her rose and her, sorry Mick. But the lovely Rose didn't really do it for me. And then Yugoslavia, same, bit statuesque, didn't like it at all. But yeah, definitely for me, the big ones for me were loved Denmark, obviously, and I loved Ireland.
Thank you very much, Denise. Donna, in 5 words or less, what did you think?
They were great. You will leave less than that. I loved a bit of Ireland. Thought it was a bit ahead of its time, actually, weirdly enough, because we always accuse Eurovision of being like 10 years behind itself, sort of thing. And I thought Linda's outfit, she was channeling the Anneka Rice, beautiful vocal, etc. But I think it was too modern, weirdly enough. So I like it. I'll always appreciate a good bit of Linda Martin. Denmark didn't cut it for me at all, but I see what you mean. Netherlands and Belgium, well, the most theatrical songs of the whole contest, and I absolutely loved them. a little bit creepy, I suppose, because it's theatrically staged, and it was an odd choice actually to start in silhouette, and then you can almost hear like the stage directions in the background going, no, turn that follow spot off. He wants complete darkness, right? But we're on telly, right? Okay, so we've got to give him some light, right? Okay, and then just bring it in. There we go. Yeah. I still don't really understand necessarily the reasons for it, but it gets me every time. I love it. But why have the little woman at the back? Everyone else was really tall, and she was getting completely shadowed out by him completely until they decided to then like go out a little bit and go, oh, there she is. Here's the prize. Yeah, so it kept me entertained anyway. I don't know if it would be my favourite song of the contest, but you know, some bits of staging are just purling in this, and I loved it. Yugoslavia, why was this not Italian? I was really confused. I thought this is not your typical like sort of Yugoslavian entry. No. This has no Slavics at all, and it's so Italian. And when that guy opened his mouth, I was like, "Well, it's Toto in the room." His hair and everything. I loved it. Yeah. So there you go. That's my quick summary of that section.
If that's quick, I don't see a long one. Anyway, Nick.
I'm sure her bow was big, bigger than this. Oh dear, I think the beauty of Eurovision, and this is a classic section, 6 songs, absolutely wonderful. Brilliant in all their ways. I loved Belgium and the creepy Real Wives of Brussels, as the backing song is. I've always loved that one. It's been weird, and I love weird. In Eurovision, I love weird. So that was brilliant. But obviously, as my outfit says, the one song, I think, in every Eurovision, there is always one song, and I don't know why, but to me, it just gets me emotionally. And that is the Netherlands. It is one of the most beautiful, heartfelt songs ever. And she sings it wonderfully. And I'll bow to Terry's superior knowledge of, singing. I didn't hear a bum note, but I just think every year I watch this, and there's some songs that get you in there, and you don't know why. And everybody is different, and we all love different songs. But this is what I would say, looking at more recent ones, both of you and me, Michelle, absolutely adore Fire Amore. And in a way, this song has that same power. And it is just for me, one of the best songs in Eurovision ever. She's just absolutely wonderful. And if I watch the video, I can guarantee you, every time I watch the video, I will be crying by the end. It's just gorgeous.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Mick. I think that's everybody, isn't it? So, shall we just go off piece just for a moment with what happened in the show? And they tried a new concept for the staging and how to do the staging. So we'll go to our staging expert, Donna. You could see a lot of panicked faces then, thinking, "Oh no, God, it's not me."
Staging expert.
Donna would like to enlighten us on the staging.
Well, it was nice that it was actually done in a theatre. We don't really see that these days. It's usually an event space that's ever so large, and they will cobble together some kind of stage in random shapes with LED panels, and that's what we're all used to now. But back in the day, you didn't have such a thing. Technology wasn't as good. So actually choosing a theatre that was actually an opera house that could obviously hold many, many heavy weight drapes and basic light boxes and various gauzes that you would need for a very classical opera. This was brilliant because it's a lot larger stage actually, and I think anybody realized. It's just your performance area was a lot smaller because of the staging. It was incredible the amount of false perspective cloths they had there, and lighting boxes, as I say, that were rigged from individual bars. And yeah, the opening does look a lot like the 4 from Channel 4, because they go for this whole sort of angular design. But it was brilliant. It meant that they could make all sorts of unusual shapes that were very classical and yet modern at the same time, and give them a bit of I don't know, a natural feel with the lighting as well, because they were backlit for quite a lot of it, I think. And then you know, the angles for telly are not actually quite flattering, so you'll also see some not your flat faces. You'll see a lot of shadowing going on at times as well. So some ways it worked, some ways it didn't work. I did like the actual risers on either side, so you've got your treads that people were standing. If they were backing singers, they were off to one side maybe. It gave it an interesting dynamic. I don't think it necessarily worked for the lady on piano in our last section, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But it didn't mean that you were just on a fixed set, is what I'm trying to say. You were not getting the same image all the time with just a little bit of a lighting change. You were getting something else to fill your imagination with and change it up a bit.
It was all done with pulleys as well, when it was all like this.
Yeah.
How many people do you think were behind there that would have to be on these pulleys and shoving things about? Must have been a lot of people.
It doesn't always have to be a lot of people, depending on what counterweight system you've got. But I imagine they would have had a few up in the galleries to get those changes running quickly. That's the thing. That's maybe why you saw a little bit of a wobble, because I imagine each one of those shapes was on a bar on its own, and it would have been weighted accordingly to actually bring it in and out without it going lopsided or falling. So yeah, the postcards were great because it gave you that opportunity.
Don't mention postcards.
It gave you the opportunity to hide the movement.
Yeah, how long were the postcards? Do you think they were just like 2 minutes or something? Is that how long they had to get all the staging put into place?
Well, it would have been similar to now, I imagine. The postcards that we saw were not very long. I didn't actually time them. And if you have got a few people, it will have been go, 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 bring it into its shape. And it can only take a few seconds. And if you're not really moving the sort of like treads at the bottom on either side as such, then it's not too bad. Moving the pieces would have been a bit like moving the choreography of the sets that we know now. So it could have been a matter of seconds, depending on how they wanted to move the shape.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Donna. Let's have a look at the next 6.
Es war einfach Zeit, einmal abzuhauen. Endlich raus aus dem Trott, aus der Stadt im Morgengrauen. Einfach weg, ohne dich oder irgendwen anderen zu fragen. Rettet sich, wer kann. Ich muss einfach raus. Ich fang von vorne an. Ich halte es nicht mehr aus. Einfach weg, auch wenn ich vielleicht bald wieder bei dir bin. Also dann adieu, ich mach dir keine Szene. Dreh dich um und geh, dein Mitleid brauch ich nicht. Jetzt werde ich erst recht aufrecht gehen. Ich hab endlich gelernt, wenn ich fall, aufzustehen. Mit Stolz in meinen Augen und trotz Tränen im Gesicht. Aufrecht gehen durch die Nacht ins Licht. Aufrecht gehen durch die Nacht ins Licht.
wie man sowas malt. So ein Bild von der Welt. Und wer weiß, welche Farbe hat der Sonnenschein? Welche Farbe hat die Welt? Ist sie blau wie das weite Meer, wie das hohe Himmelsfeld? Welche Farbe hat die Welt? Ist sie blau wie das weite Meer, wie das hohe Himmelsfeld? Dein Gefühl.
Nei villaggi di frontiera guardano passare i treni, le strade deserte di Tosè. Nei villaggi di frontiera guardano passare i treni per Tosè. Às vezes é no meio do silêncio que descubro o amor em teu olhar e troco a minha vida por dia de ilusão, e troco a minha vida por dia de ilusão. E aquilo em que ninguém quer acreditar, às vezes sou também sim alegre ou triste não. E troco a minha vida por dia de ilusão, e troco a minha vida por dia de ilusão. E troco a minha vida por dia de ilusão.
So that's Austria, Germany, Turkey, Finland, Switzerland, Italy, and Portugal. So let's go to Denise. Denise, tell us about those.
I'll be very brief about this one because I want to focus on Finland. But what was it about cummerbunds? Or must have been the year of people with waists with cummerbunds or tight belts or something. So that just ran through, including Little Bo Peep on number 1, which is Austria. Didn't like that at all. Germany was also boring for me. Turkey, well, now that was lovely. Looked like play school. It looked like they're all dressed up for play school, all in blue. Nice song, just looked a bit weird, but typical of that age. Switzerland and Italy and Portugal, I can lump them all into 3. Well, Portugal can do Silencio all the time as far as I'm concerned. Didn't like it at all. Italy, well, was the guy actually concentrating on the woman? Because she looked like she was going out in a rainstorm and he looked like he was looking at the floor reading the words. So I have no idea what was going on with Italy. And he had a very shaky start. Terry will tell you. He had a shaky start, like he didn't know whether he was coming or going. So that's Italy out. Right, Switzerland and then Finland. Excuse me. Right. Did you notice with Finland, they look like they come straight from a fancy dress party? You got Little Bo Peep on the left. You got Mrs. in the top. I don't not like her at the bottom half. If I stood up now, you'd all have a shock. But top half, she looked as though she was going to a wedding. And then the guy on the right looks like a quarter of Buck's face. All right. And the guy at the front, God love him. I think it was very catchy song. How that came 9th, I'll never know with 46 points. Should have been, well, 3rd, you know, but I thought it was really good. And, you know, the fact, I think this that in itself is catchy, isn't it? And it's got a bit of a mouth organ as well, which was lovely. And I love Finland. I always liked Finland because it was so wacky. But all in all, that was my overview of it all.
Brilliant. Thank you. That was brilliant. Thanks, Denise. Terry, follow that.
Hello. Well, Donna, I liked a shaky start, but I'll get onto that later. I do like a shaky start, you know, it's just the way I'm sitting. Anyway, Austria, too many words. There's too many plot words going on and not enough hook of the song. which is all these words. And for those of you who didn't speak German, what the hell is she going on about? It was not for me at all. Then Germany, Mary Ross. Now, Mary Ross was huge in that era in Germany. She was in many of the national finals. I actually lived in Berlin for most of 1982, so I know how big a deal she was. It's a very good song. It's so anthemic, but the opening line always makes me laugh because it is actually translated as, all right then, bye. I mean, literally, would you start a song saying, all right then, bye? But that's how it is. And then the hook of the song, the main feature of the song is, get up, I've learned at last, if you fall, get up. And that's basically what the song's about, which is a great moral of life, really, isn't it? So if you're a bit down, just get up, pick yourself up and get on with life. So it's a class, actually, it's a classy singer, fantastic voice, and, you know, well deserved to be in Eurovision. And hopefully, I don't know where she got placed in the end, but hopefully she got a good placing. I can't even remember. Turkey, bless my Turkey, not just because I've come from Turkey yesterday, but this, for me, was the hardest working act of the night, because I know that they must have spent many happy hours in front of a full mirror, because I know how these things work, because I've done it many times myself. That slick choreography, so slick. They weren't particularly dancers, but they looked like they were really having a go. And with great mentoring and great hard work and discipline in front of those mirrors, they really got there. I loved the 3-part harmony. I say 3-part harmony because I think there were 3 parts. The 2 girls were usually doubling up on a part, and the 2 other men had opposing lines, which all kind of clashed musically and wonderfully together, a bit like a Sondheim kind of thing. The dark-haired singer Guy, I particularly liked his voice, which was kind of really cutting through if you listen hard. Finland, I'm not going to talk about because I didn't like it at all, so it's not for me. Switzerland, now they reminded me very much of Peter, Sue and Mark, who I don't know if any of them were Peter, Sue and Mark. I don't think they were, they? But correct me if I'm wrong, but they had that very similar sound going on. Peter, Sue and Mark, of course, who represented Switzerland for about 20 years running. They seem to be in it forever. Italy, now I really liked his shaky start, and I really enjoyed the girl eating into the lyrics, eating into the song, and it always makes me smile. Him on her sort of on her shoulder at the back, he looks like a serial killer. Looks like he's going to stab her any second and do a bit of a psycho moment. But I love, as for everyone in the contest, he's the person that I'd like to go and have a cup of coffee with and know more about him, because I really liked him. That's why I'm wearing the wig, see? It is a wig, by the way. Thank you very much. Bye.
Oh, thanks, Terry. Paul and Andrew, follow that.
Right, for me, Italy, absolutely wonderful. Should have done so much better. I think the only thing I'd say is, why didn't you take your coat off? Something like that's what you were saying. And also, I didn't realise until we actually just watched the reprieve again, and I've watched this about 5 or 6 times, the backing singers were actually wearing outfits which were the Italian flag, which I'd never realised. It was the red, white, and the green, white, and red sort of thing, which I just suddenly thought, oh my God. And Portugal, I absolutely loved that. And it was nice to see that Joan Sims actually had a career after the Carry On films.
There's one for the youth.
I thought it was Pat Butcher.
I didn't really like either of those, but I did like Switzerland. It was all I could hear though was like I could misheard lyrics. It was like, "Where's your father? Stick it where the sun don't shine." That's all I could keep hearing. It's like, but anyway, Finland. I thought that was just fun, wasn't it? It was just oh gosh, the harmonica bit was great. Yeah, didn't take itself too seriously. What else? Germany, Mary Roos. Yeah, a beautiful song. My favorite actually of the whole group. Nice melody with a really big chorus. I feel that I got sort of Why Me vibes from it, you know, from a few years later, maybe I don't know. Yeah, that's just the way the chorus sort of started. It was like you know, that's what I thought. What else? Yeah, the dad dancers, you know, the barber dads. We were going to go as that, but it's really, really hard to find turquoise jump tank tops.
And we're so glad now that it's because it's so hot.
Yeah.
That's all we've been wearing.
Love how the girls have a boogie. It's like a dance break in the middle. I do like that. And the men just stand around, just sort of letting them go for it. So yeah, quite a good section actually.
Thank you very much, Donna.
Hello. Oh god, what a section, eh? Joan Sims. Actually, she just looked a lot like Joan Sims, didn't she? I did actually like watching back the Italian one now as well, because I kept thinking those glasses, Mike Reed. I don't know if anybody else agrees. It's so Mike Reed. But the Italian one is another one of my favourites. It's one of those interesting vocally ones, because just the way it all plays out, and he starts a sentence, she finishes it beautifully smoothly, and they sort of go through that vocal range, creeping up and up and up, and then she comes in, and it's so lovely. It's got an unusual dynamic to it, but I like that. It keeps you interested. And then of course the opera singers, hello. Out of nowhere, totally different. I love it. Yeah, what's not to love? Why did Austria only get 5 points? I'm just sad for them, because they could have done so much better. The creepiest camera moment of the night does go to Austria, though, because the guy on the guitar, and then of course the other singer giving his claps, they couldn't have been any more static and boring looking if they tried. Yeah. And her dress was all wrong. The whole dynamic of it was just ploddy, wasn't it? So I'd have liked them to have got more than 5 points, but bless them. Scary Mary was sorry. I did like her song. She had one of the most beautiful voices, I thought, of the night, but she scared me. Just the kind of way she looked into the camera. I was like, oh, I'm not going to mess with her. Definitely not. Finland, loved it. Light-hearted. Reminded me of more modern things like Laka, when they played with the puffball skirting around on stage. If they were allowed to probably do a bit more dancing, or felt like it, then I would have liked to have seen them let loose a bit more. And yeah, that was it, really. It was a fun section to end on. Quite a different section of, quite a lot of different styles of songs altogether at the end, wasn't it? So I don't know if I'd have necessarily have put it that way for a producer-led show these days. I don't know what other people think, but yeah, certainly a good one.
Thank you very much, Donna. Nick, do you think Turkey should have been at least in the top 5? Because I do.
Oh yeah, definitely. If only for those turquoise tank tops. Yeah. I mean, oh my God, what a fashion statement! Come on, it's absolutely brilliant.
It was my favourite song.
Sorry?
It was my favourite song.
Oh,
the whole thing, I bloody loved it.
Yeah, and the armography, absolutely brilliant. And I must admit, like what Denise was saying earlier about what you notice about songs now when you watch them back, which you didn't notice on the night. I thought with the Turkish fella, the lovely bearded singer in there, when they focused on him, his eyelids were fluttering. It was like he was trying to get his contacts back in, and oh, bless him. It's live TV. I can't get my contacts in. And, but by looking at things, I thought with Austria, the backing singers, I'm sure the smaller one on the left was Gary Lux. I don't know if anybody will be able to tell me about that.
He was.
There you go.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, bless him. Little Gary next to the tall serial killer with the glasses. I mean, dear God. I'm glad he survived another year to come back. And looking at the others, I mean, Finland. If you can't get accordions, get a mouth organ in there. Come on, brilliant, absolutely. And as Denise says, it's boppy. You sing along with it. Finland are one of my favourite Eurovision countries. Like with Portugal, the way they did the order was all random. So to finish on a piano ballad, but I don't know. I've always had a soft spot for Portugal, and I do love it. loved the 70s porn star moustache on the Switzerland singer. And I have to get my glasses on because I just love, for Switzerland, I said, sometimes the postcard is actually better than the song. And sometimes I think, for Switzerland, the postcard was better. And it went, Welke Farbe hat der Sonnenschein? And in English, it went, rainy day. And I always used to think when I was growing up, oh, they have all them words just to say rainy day. Oh, isn't it lovely? And Italy, absolute classic. I think some fandoms say they missed the intro or they missed the introductory bit. They covered it well. But yeah, absolute. Just a wonderful ending. Have I forgotten anybody?
No, you haven't.
No, Mary Roos, Eurovision goddess. Come on. This year, Mary Roos. So many absolutely wonderful people. Absolutely wonderful. And a wonderful end to the show. And Austria didn't deserve 5 points, but at least they didn't end up with 0 points.
True, Mick, true. It could have been slightly worse. Phil, quickly.
I'm just going to say, Austria, did you notice there was a band there? So you got a guy on drums, a guy on keyboard, a guy on guitar, and then some poor sod who just had to clap because he couldn't give him an instrument. I mean, at least give him a tambourine. And talking of instruments, what was it? It was, Switzerland. You got 2 singers and a guy playing bass. Why pick? Because we all know he's miming, so why pick bass guitar? And I also thought the male singer on there looked like Gomez Adams out of the Addams Family. Finland, I thought the guy. I like the song. Somebody said it was a bit like Penny Arcade. Step up and they hear me. Penny Arcade.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah. The guy's voice reminded me a little bit of Jan Tegan from Norway. If you remember Milletta Mill, who famously got 0 points, who I think was massively misunderstood too. But yeah, it was great. My favourite was Turkey. I mean, everyone said I like the whip cracks as well, the whip cracking sound, but that was good. But yeah, that's kind of it really for me.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Phil. So that's all the songs. But before we get to the voting, shall we have a little chat about the halftime show? Because that's what would have come at the end. I mean, look, there's our homage to the halftime show. And we're going to go to Denise, who's going to tell us a little bit about the halftime show.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was really well ahead of its time. I'm sure, Donna, this was quite an unusual interval act. It was a Prague Puppeteer, Prague Puppeteer Society or Prague Puppeteer Company. And it still fascinates me how it was done, because we've all seen there have been some very famous ones on Britain's Got Talent or X Factor or something like that. There have been famous illusion sort of where they do different figures and different people with palm shows that make different figures. But this still fascinates me. Really unusual for what previous years and then future years. And I think it was really good. And it was very solitary. There was nothing big about it. It was simple, very simplistic. The guy who was there was brilliant. And he had to be, from what was going on. I mean, I still don't know how they did all the different figures. But he had to be have his wits about him. And I think he did really well. I mean, I thought it was really, really good. Very unusual. And I still don't know how they did it. So, but Donna, you have to tell us. No, don't. Please don't.
I'll tell you later then, not to spoil it. How's it?
Okay.
I know how to do it, but it's like telling someone that Santa doesn't exist. So I'm not sure we should.
No, actually, maybe not. But I thought it was really, really super. And it was intriguing. But it was so simple too. And Donna, maybe that was one of the simpler ones, even though it looks complex. It was probably one of the simplest ones and the less labor intensive, if you like. But I thought it was really, really good. How was it received generally? I don't remember.
I don't think it was the best.
No. Was there a lot of clapping?
No, but it was only 5 minutes long, and I think
Yeah.
I'm going to start a petition to have the interval act at only 5 minutes long.
It was great because it was over and done with, but it was really, really good. I loved it, and I've never actually seen, apart from anything, since then, never seen anything like it.
Brilliant, thank you, Denise. And next we're going to go to Mick, who's going to tell us a bit about the postcards.
Indeed, and apparently the producer of the show was the one who worked out what each postcard introducing every country would be about. And, well, they went from the sublime to the ridiculous, didn't they, really? And I don't know what the drug laws are in Luxembourg, but I feel that maybe he had indulged on one or two of them.
Can I just tell you that the man that designed all the stage and did all the staging, who probably is involved in that, was from the Netherlands, if that helps.
That makes sense.
Well, that might explain one or two of them. I'll just have to put my glasses on because I did write down what the great Terry Wogan said. Right at the start of the show, he said, with the postcards, they are whimsical films. And I just think that sums it up extraordinarily well. And I think what it is that how others see us. So I think with the Luxembourg, how the hell he thought Sweden was represented by a yellow submarine going into a sardine can.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Perhaps that was the night he had the overindulgence, shall we say. But again, with the blessed Terry Wogan, with the French one, he said, heavy symbolism there. Yes, Terry, a phallic rocket rising in front of a beautiful woman and going through a hole in her hat. Yes, heavy symbolism. I think it was just filth. Filth.
You'd never get away with that now.
You bloody wouldn't.
Mick,
Sorry.
Mick, why did our postcard end with toxic waste?
That's what I would do.
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked me that, because the fun element of the postcards was the live people being the tourists, going around all Europe and enjoying the delights of every nation within Eurovision land. And the British one, Teapot, Big Ben, everything like that. The poison coming out at the end of the Rolls Royce, I think that was a homage to, James Bond. And if only after that, the poison would have killed them all. Because, I'm sorry, Phil, what does Thutty say? Mime should be designated to the heaviest pit of hell. They were not funny. They were absolutely awful. And thank God we've got the montage of, look at all the beautiful things in our country. Because, oh my God, those postcards were painful.
Oh my God, it might have backfired on me asking Mick to look at the postcards.
I thought the Cyprus one was really weird because all it seemed to be was, where's Cyprus? It was just like trying to figure out where Cyprus was. There's nothing about Cyprus.
Yeah.
It's just, where is Cyprus on the map?
Yeah. And the
Where is Cyprus?
Well, I think we got there in the end.
Well, let's hurriedly go to the results, shall we?
Oh, hang on. Let's go to the voting. Yeah, here we go.
And finally, Ireland, 12 points.
Ireland, 12 points.
Belgique, 12 points.
Denmark, 12 points.
Denmark, 12 points. Sweden, 12 points.
Et Irlande, 12 points.
And Sweden, 12 points.
Sweden, 12 points.
And France, 12 points.
Chypre, 12 points. And Sweden, 12
Going
points.
to Sweden, who are looking more like the winners.
Irlande, 10 points.
Irlande, 10 points. Ireland, 10
Will
points.
Sweden get the 12 again?
La Suède,
Yes, they
12
do.
points.
Spain, 12 points.
And Italy, 12 points.
Suède, 10 points.
Suède, 10 points.
Let's see if the top mark goes to Ireland this
10
time.
points.
Et Irlande,
So it does.
United Kingdom, 10 points.
Ireland get the 12. And they have. It's going to make it very close indeed.
C'est le
It's going to go
Portugal.
right down
On
to
va
the
voir si le
Portuguese vote
Portugal
to
va
decide
tout
who wins
changer.
this year's Eurovision.
Danemark, 1 point.
Danemark, 1 point. Denmark, 1 point.
Irlande, 2 points.
I'm afraid
Irlande,
that's done it.
2 points.
Suède, 4 points.
Suède, 4 points. Sweden, 4 points. L'Espagne, 12 points.
Top mark from
Spain,
Portugal for Spain.
12 points. So,
10 years
we
ago,
have our winner.
Sweden won it
Sweden
in
with
Brighton
145
with Waterloo
points.
and ABBA. And now it's Headays for Sweden with 145 points. To present the award, the lady who won it for Luxembourg last year.
Radio Télé Luxembourg. Alors, please, on stage, les gagnants de cette année, Sweden.
Headays for Sweden, who sang Diggy Loo Diggy Lay and will sing it for us again. 3 young men, 3 brothers, living on the west coast of America,
So,
singing in those golden boots for Sweden.
so
This is Britt
they want to let them
Britt
up.
Lindeberg.
They want, let them up.
The security guards wouldn't let the winning authors get up on the stage. That's what the delay was due to. That's Britt Lindeberg and Torny Söderberg. Great applause for Headays. Here.
Blimey, I wasn't expecting those results, were you? God. So there we go. We had Sweden obviously won, then Ireland, then Spain, Denmark 4th, joint 5th, Belgium and Italy, and the UK were 7th. So let's do it randomly. Let's go to Paul and Andrew. Diggy Loo Diggy Lay wasn't the favourite on the night, and Sir Terry went, ooh, it's not my favourite, you know, it's all right, but it's not good. Do you think it's aged better, and why do you think it won?
I think it won because it was fun, and I think it has aged. There are a lot of songs this year. I think it was a really good year. I don't think I actually disliked any of the songs. I actually liked all of the songs. They all had something. So I think it was a class year.
I think at the time I didn't like it at all, but you know, it's just one of those ones that just keeps growing on you. And I guess people enjoyed it at the time, and that's the number one thing.
I think the one thing I would say is the UK probably should have done better, and none of us have mentioned it, and you're gonna now shoot me down and say it's not true. But Hazel Dean was the backing singer who did the lead vocals, and you can see her on the little stage, just off the stage.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fab little nugget of information. Thank you very much for that.
Right on the left-hand side, in a tiny, tiny little, you can see her.
You can see her there, just hiding away, going, I'm here.
Yeah. Oh, well, do you know what? I will go back. Everyone go back now. Not now. No, later, after, and have a look. Denise, do you think the UK were overstyled? And do you think they would have done better if they weren't wearing something so garish?
Well, I mean, you know, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? I mean, I think they were great. I thought the song was great. It had a real, you know, a real beat to it. Like we, you know, Phil and I said about the Motown, you know, Motown, the Supreme thing. I think it was lovely. I mean, and when I think about it, you know, obviously we've all been focusing on these songs in the last few days, and I've enjoyed it. But actually, Digaloo, you know, like it's very popular, you know. But the thing is, I think Bell and the Devotions, I don't think they were ahead of their time. I think they were great. They were wonderful. Because you think 2 years later, we had Bucks Bucks Fizz ripping her skirts off. So they weren't, you know, we were probably ahead of our time in the UK, but no, I don't think. I mean, you could see the voting. Just, I mean, I never looked at that voting so closely, obviously. And if Linda Martin hadn't got that too, and it would have been completely different, because Terminal 3 is really good as well. But going back to the original question, I thought they were great. They didn't overstage it at the tour. I thought it was wonderful. Really did.
Brilliant. Thank you, Denise. Terry, Italy came joint 5th. What do you think they could have done to get themselves further up the scoreboard?
No, I think they were perfectly placed as 5th. I don't think they could have got any further with that song because there was too much competition at the top there. I think Sweden were definitely the deserved winners, and the best song won on the night, in my opinion, as very often in Eurovision it does, no matter where they're placed in the running order. And politically, people talk about political voting and everything, but the best song usually wins. Like Portugal, for example, never did any good. Of course, Salvador comes along and he won, you know, so it just proves that it's the song that wins the competition. Can I just also, sorry, Denise, I want to apologize for calling you Donna earlier on.
I didn't even
you didn't even notice.
Even hear it.
And also, I was probably on mute. I usually am. They usually mute me because I'm not very good. And can I also big it up for our wonderful presenter, Desiree? Now, she was 19, I believe, when she did this. I don't know how she elevated her status to become Eurovision presenter at the age of 19 and what she'd done before. Don't know anything about her history. And I don't know anything about what happened to her afterwards. I'd be really interested to know about her life after Eurovision, because I'm sure she would have had a great success because she was charming. She was humble, she was human, and she crossed all the age boundaries. She was one of those people at 19 that could talk to anyone and gain respect.
Yeah. Incredible.
And I think she did an absolutely cracking job. And I think, apart from my lovely backing singer from Denmark, I think Desiree was the star of the show. I thought she was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. For someone so young, because when you're 19, you could come across as being cocky and, you know, arrogant, and look at me, I'm just a teenager and I'm like hosting Eurovision, you know, hip hip. But she wasn't. She really humbled herself and was grounded. She made a few little mistakes in her opening speech, but I could tell she was very nervous. She repeated introducing the conductor a second time and got a second round of applause. So but she did. I don't think she had autocue. It was all like from memory. So I thought she was absolutely wonderful. Big it up for Desiree. Sorry, I completely went off the question. But I don't really
did,
care.
because that was my question. That was going to be my question to Donna, but thanks for that, Terry. It's not a problem.
I'm sorry, Donna. I've stolen your thunder, love. Come back next week. Oh, can I say one more thing?
It's all right.
This is
No, you can't, Terry. No.
No, let him go on.
A really important question. Why did Desiree at the end of Eurovision say, "Thank you all very much. See you same time next Saturday"? Why?
Maybe she was having a party. Maybe there was a party in Luxembourg and she was hosting it, and we all could have gone if we wanted.
Well, I tuned in the following Saturday, and it was the Generation Game, so she wasn't even there.
I thought, do you know what, Terry? I think you're absolutely right. She was a brilliant presenter, because when it came to the scoring, and she'd start talking, they'd say whatever. You know, 6 points. She'd go, 6 points, and they'd start talking over it, and she carried on sternly, and they shut up then and went, "Oh right, yeah, this is how it works." Yeah. She drove really, through. Really drove it. She did. I loved her. Mick, Austria. Yeah, should have been last, shouldn't it? But can you give us you're supposed to say why it shouldn't have been last.
Oh, well, thank you for that.
All right then, Mick, why did your woman not do better?
Well, that is the beauty of Eurovision, isn't it? You know, what one person likes, another person thinks is absolutely rubbish. And I think, thank God, I forget which country. I wrote it down and I can't find it, but the one country that did kind of save Austria from the dreaded 0 point, and I don't know who it was, but absolutely excellent. But for the excuse me, for the reprise, I just suddenly thought, going back to Denise's Finland entry, the fourth Harry brother was also the backing singer, so you know, they were bound to win, weren't they? Because they had the spare with Finland, and so Sweden was going to win, wasn't they?
Oh,
really?
that poor other brother backing the wrong horse. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
How many Harrys were there?
How many Harrys are there, Mick?
I don't know if it's a spoof, but they always sort of said there were 4, and then they got rid of one of them to go. I don't know if it was a Swedish TV show that did a spoof on that. There were 4 of them originally, and they got rid of one, because Eurovision had to be 3. I don't know.
Donna, I've thought of a question.
Oh God, here we go.
So, because Martin put it on the chat last night, it was the Harrys won from first up, which is not an easy feat. 3 people have done it. It's not impossible, but it's not likely, is it? He said he thinks the Harrys won because they had a bit something about them, a good dance routine and all that schnizzle and everything. Do you think that they won because they had a good dance routine?
It's always intrigued me that more people didn't actually do a bit of a dance routine, because as mic technology has obviously progressed and, you had wireless mics available, you could have easily stepped away from that stand and did a little bit of something. So some people would start off slowly and do, a little bit of arm movement and leg movement and very wooden. But to actually, get out there and do something, it was slick. They did do a very, very good routine. I don't know if that was what won it for them, honestly. I think it was more the song than the actual presentation, but it was an all-round presentation, wasn't it? The guys looked good. They got the gold boots they were singing about. They sounded okay, even though they weren't the best singers in the contest.
But on that note, John, I'll just interject. They got the gold boots, but we didn't know until the reprise that they were singing about the gold boots, because it was all in Swedish until the reprise, where they went, you can't stop us now. We're halfway through. We're going to sing in English. So, yeah, well, it's not the gold boots.
No, but it helps because your eyes are drawn to them, though, isn't it? They've got nice, colourful tops as well, with similar block colours that you'd see for book fairs as well. It was clean, it was simple, and it did the job.
Could it be that they were the most colourful on the night?
It certainly was, especially compared to Spain.
There was a lot of dull clothing, which I was 10 in 1984, and everything was massively colourful with stupid hair, and nothing was brown. This is like when people say Eurovision's 10 years behind. The UK came out looking like 1984, and everyone went, "Oh, we're not ready for that."
Yeah. And we're still not ready for it, Michelle.
Well, no, I am. So anyway, that's everything. I think we've covered everything. I've just got a few facts that I wrote down, so I might as well just say them. The juries, there were no professionals allowed in the juries. Terry, I'm going to ask this to Terry, because she said the jury's made up of 11 people, but none of them were allowed to be professionals that were in the business. She said they had to be just normal people like you and me, even though she's in the business, which I thought, you're pushing it. Were you aware of this?
Now you've said it in those terms, it does kind of disturb me, because even though I'm in the business, I'm a normal person. I've got normal ears, and I appreciate music as much as someone that's non-professional. So I don't know why I shouldn't have been included in that scenario. But I do think it's very important for the public vote. I think the public vote is so significant. And this year, for example, I was so frustrated Croatia didn't win, but I won't go there. But yes, so I'm a little bit upset that I couldn't have been considered as a jury member, because I do it for my job.
Now. No, but you can now, because it's all professional now, Terry.
I know, but I wasn't even a professional in 1984. I was a waiter in Berlin, but never mind.
So you could have been on the bloody jury then. What you want about?
Oh, I could have been in 1984, yes.
Yeah,
that's true.
And you can.
Well, that's all right.
And you can now. Oh my God! I knew that was a mistake, but I still won't.
I should have been. I would have actually been on the jury. I would have been on the jury for Germany because I lived in Berlin. But that's all right.
That's fine. I think you take any jury. You'd have been on Yugoslavia's jury if they'd have offered it. So, does anybody know why most of the countries gave their scores in French? That's a no then. No, I just
Probably
wondered.
not.
In what?
but
Sorry, in what?
in
Sorry.
French.
Most of the countries when they gave their scores, they did it in French.
Yeah.
Maybe they were
it
being nice
depends.
because it was Luxembourg, and they thought, well, let's just be Luxembourgish and do it in French.
But a lot still, you could only really do it in English or French. That's correct, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
but most,
some people may feel more comfortable giving the results in French than they do in English.
But I loved it. I think I think it was a tradition right from the very start. You know, just giving, you know, and it sounds more sexy, 12 points, you know, rather than 12 points. You know, it's one of those little things that Eurovision does so well. I think I'd rather give my, you know, points in French. Really, you know, it sounds a bit more exotic, and.
I've got to say, though, Desiree did an amazing job, bless her, handling the two different languages extremely well and adding in a few little bits from other
Apparently,
languages.
she's fluent in 5 different languages.
Yeah, yeah.
Was she fluent at the time?
German,
yeah.
And I think even Luxembourgish at one point as well. Yeah. So, you know.
Well,
absolutely
she was a radio presenter from the age of 12. So, you know, she'd obviously been brushing up on all sorts of languages, etc. for her role. She was apparently on a kids show as well around the same time. So that may be why, Terry, and answer to your question earlier, she said, "I'll see you next week." Because
possibly.
she'll have been thinking of her day job.
I mean, she was very multilingual. I liked the fact she was very multilingual. However, in her opening speech, she did make one mistake. She was talking about what she had on here, which whatever it was, and she said, "I've got this on here," and she said it in English, and then she qualified what it was that was on there, but she said that she did that in the other language. So she's introducing this here is because it's for, and then she said what it was for in another language. So I still don't know what it was for. Because she was trying to do all these different languages and mixing it up, which is fair enough.
Do you know what, Terry? On that, I don't know what that was for. Let me find my piece of paper. Here you go. I've written this down. It was the
Sorry, I had a power cut.
Oh, that's all right, Denise. It's fine. Sorry. You can catch up on catch up. It's fine. So it was the 80s contest that made you ask such things as, what was that weird rat thing that kept popping up? It wasn't explained. We don't know what it is. What was that? What were the postcards on about? We don't know. It's still a mystery, and it always will be just an enigma.
It's the magic of Eurovision.
I know. And what on earth was going on with that interval act?
I love the magic there.
And why? Well, why are they not on Britain's Got Talent? Because that's the sort of crap that they have on nowadays. You'd think they'd have turned up somewhere in the realm of reality TV and we'd heard about them.
It was 40 years ago. He's probably retired.
Well, you know the horse wasn't real, don't you?
No, the horse has already been. It's gone into Fray Bentos.
Oh no! And on that note, we're going to say, make sure that you ding a dong our bell and like our schniz wherever you find your social media. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Oh, and Mastodon. Oh, is that the last one that comes up? That's terrible. Probably. Phil's on Mastodon. It's him that you'll be dealing with.
It's not Twitter anymore. It's X.
Oh yeah, X. I don't know. Whatever Elton Musk's calling it this week is. You can find us anywhere. We're all over social media. I don't know why, because it's me and I can't do it, but I have a go. So just bear with me. But I think the next thing that's coming up is the next episode of the A to Z of Eurovision with all your favourite panellists picking their favourite songs from sometimes not their favourite country. Oh, there's all sorts. You're going to absolutely love it. We've already done 3 episodes. Go back and watch them. And then you can catch up and watch the next episodes. So let's say good night to our panellists. Thank you very, very, very much to Denise.
Thank you very much. Lovely.
Thank you,
I really
Denise.
enjoyed it. Thank you.
Oh, cheers. Thank you, Terry.
Good night, everyone. Happy Eurovision watching. Good night from Terry at Heathrow.
And hot eyes, Paul and Andrew.
Good night, everyone.
Night. Thank you for having us.
It's been really
Brilliant
good fun.
show and classic Eurovision.
And a very warm Mick.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, good night, everybody. A wonderful Eurovision land. It's what brings us all together, and it was lovely actually to see Desiree in the national final of Luxembourg this year. They brought her back, so Eurovision has a long memory. So and long may it continue.
It does. Once you're in the Eurovision family, you can't escape because we will not let you.
Yeah, we'll get you.
We will. We get our club and that's it. And thank you, Donna.
Oh, pleasure as always. And I think I better take this off soon because it's starting to melt. it's just so hot down here. Unusual for Scotland, quite honestly. But yeah, it's been fab. And it's been really nice to go back through, as I hope everybody at home has thought as well, to go back through 1984 and some of the earlier ones. They get a little overlooked these days. And yes, I was slightly alive at the time. But still, I don't really remember it because I was quite young, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
And I'd like
Can
to
I say
oh,
thank
go on,
you
Denise.
to Michelle and Phil for hosting.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you, Denise. Thank you. Oh, well, that's really nice. Thanks. I was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really hosting. I was just spouting a load of rubbish like I normally do.
Phil presses the buttons.
I press the buttons
But anyway.
and spout rubbish, and Michelle does the hosting.
And we will do it all again next time. Until
Yeah.
then, bye.
Bye.
Bye.